Hello everybody and welcome back to Crusader Kings, where we would like to clean up a little bit of border gore over here. But of course we are also working on, if we can get zoomed in over here, the first zoom is always the hardest, but as we get further and further into this game, it's getting a little laggier. There's no doubt about it. We're still very interested in upgrading various structures here. Now, a lot of these are maxed out, but not all of them by any means. So we have a lot of work to do yet over here, and that is just fine. We're going to continue working on this for a little bit, and of course, we are in wealth focus here. So we're going to work our way down towards at any cost, but we're also going to want to grab cutting cornerstones at some point, and yeah, this is going to be interesting. I do want to put the bulk of our money into those upgrades. That will be for the best, but I also really want to clean up Amiens over here. This will be fantastic. So really, we can only take one single county here, right? We can't really get away with the other one just yet, but we could just take this like so. And really, for this guy, all we should need is our men-at-arms, right? 3,500? Probably. We'll raise up a few more. Yeah, he's raising up here, which we're being a little greedy. But he is actually capped out at 3,500 troops. So we're just going to raise up like 6k. This will be plenty. We can come in over here. We may or may not win that, actually. I was expecting him to actually leave. But we do have a dangerous faction here. This is an independence faction. So this is fair enough. What do we want to do about this? We could probably do something with this guy. Oh yeah, this is easy. We definitely want this guy to have an alliance with us, so that'll be fine. No problem there. He did get a few additional troops. Okay. And he is walking now. Some of our guys are escaping from the dungeon. That's very rude of them. I wish that they wouldn't. We could, well, actually, technically they're under house arrest right now. We could put them into the dungeon where they wouldn't escape. But that sounds like work. So there's that. I'm going to actually raise up a few additional levy troops here. Just because we're waiting on our men-at-arms for another 60 days anyway, I would like to raise a few extra troops here. This is enough. We're going to send them on in. We're still making 300 gold per month, so that's solid. And our men-at-arms will arrive here in 35 days. And we're going to send the larger force here to go wipe their army, while the smaller force fights over here. Frontier outposts have been constructed, and we'll get to that in a bit. We can demand a payment from this gentleman, and so we shall. We can also negotiate some alliances, and all of these are bonds of blood. I'm not sure how relevant that is at this exact moment right now, though, so I don't think that we're going to do exactly that. Okay, so in comes our men-at-arms, and of course, once they arrive there, we are simply going to split off our trebuchets, and these guys are going to head on down, as are these guys. Excellent. So in they go, and yeah, the enemy does not like what's going on here. I don't blame them. We're going to cut them off over here. And we do, in fact, catch them. And this will probably stack wipe. Yep. That's absolutely a stack wipe. Fantastic. So we could walk down here and start a slow siege. We'll do it. I don't know exactly how much we're going to get from sieging up here in Amiens. It'll be interesting, to be sure. We'll come on in over this way and see if we can spend any of that sweet, sweet gold we've got. We want to spend it in locations that we directly control as a priority, and so if those are not constructing, that absolutely should be our priority. Because we get all of the benefits as opposed to only part of the benefits if we build it in a location that is one of our vassals. So we're not too interested in that necessarily unless none of our castles are constructing. Excellent. So how's the siege progressing? 2 months remaining. Shouldn't be too bad. The Khan must pay his due. Hey, a stewardship perk. And he did pay it to us. Fantastic. We're going to take detailed ledgers for the Republican vassal tax contribution. That'll boost up our income somewhat. which is down to 270 right now due to our men-at-arms. And there is also that independence faction still there. Is there anybody here I feel like shouldn't be in the faction? Honestly, these guys are all fair enough. They like us, but not tremendously. Some of them are fairly ambivalent. Yeah, this is acceptable. So this guy is the primary issue. We have a bunch of daughters, and so we're just going to do this. We'll bounce that faction and see how that does. Excellent. Now, we are 9 direct vassals above our vassal limit. Giving out vassals is not good for us, stress-wise. So that's rough. And we're still severely injured. That said, we are a comfort eater now, so we have that stress loss bonus. And this is actually sufficient. We can enforce our demands there. Excellent. And this became part of West Francia, I think? Yes. It became part of West Francia. That's perfect. We don't have to deal with it then. Absolutely fantastic. Very, very happy about that one. We can change West Francia's contract, and his contract is garbage to us. We are going to immediately 500 troops. 500 troops or 0.4 tax. I think we're going to take the 0.4 tax per month. Cool. There we go. We're going to need to continue to work that up, obviously, as we get opportunities to. And we would like to continue to clean up this area, but for now we have a little bit of gold to spend, so let's hop on over here, see if any of our castles are not constructing. Ongi is not constructing. Excellent. So we'll get some taxes over here. So the question is, do we want wrathful or do we want fickle? I think I would rather have wrathful. Was that even our... No, that was our player error. Okay, good. Now he is on a stewardship education. And that is just fine. People want to ransom and... Oh, how rude. Pressed claim, but he's going to abandon that immediately. So this is our prisoner, but he's not our vassal. I accept. This is our prisoner, but he's not our vassal. I accept. Sounds good. Okay. So at this point, we would like to continue to upgrade our castles. And, well, not just our castles, but also our cities. Like, our Masons guilds? Yeah, we want to upgrade those. Okay, this is our prisoner, but not our vassal. We accept. This is our prisoner, but not our vassal. We accept. Cool. I do want to continue to clean up territory over here. Bavaria is a duchy tier realm, and I would like to carve into Bavaria. They're not strong, exactly, but they are, I believe, the strongest remaining actually Catholic nation. Let's actually double check that. Okay, Catholic. Just want to double check over this way. Awkward. There's a little bit of Catholic over there, but that's fine. Yeah, there's not very much Catholic up here that's very strong. I believe Bavaria is the strongest remaining Catholic state. And so I would like to carve into that. Cut down on Catholicism's power so that their crusades are hopefully less relevant. I mean, they're already pretty irrelevant, let's be honest. But I would like to conquer the Duchy of Bavaria. Now, this is this guy's highest ranking duchy. So this will be interesting. I think he'll still be back here, but that's fine. We're going to go ahead and declare this, and that is wonderful. He has access to 15,000 troops, and so we're going to raise up a little ways away. We're going to raise our men-at-arms, and we're going to raise approximately 20,000 men-at-arms, or rather 20,000 levies. Never mind, that's a bunch of allies and holy orders. He's got 40,000 troops. Okay, we'll raise up more. It's not like we can't scale. So that'll be fine. This is going to be a slightly bigger war than I thought. Slightly more costly. But this is okay. No real problem for right now. So our men-at-arms will be around in 3 months. We're going to raise, I think, 50,000 levy troops. We'll get them moving out over here for now. So that's 20k. How far away are we from men-at-arms anyway? We are 6 years. Cool. So 22,000. Okay, this is half raised at this point. They're going to start coming in much more quickly now, though. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. There's going to be a big dump of them very soon. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 42, 46, and 50,000. Cool. We're going to split off 10k. We're going to have to stop them from moving first. Stop them from moving first. There we go. We're going to split off 10k. There we go. These guys will move down to here for right now. The 40k are going to move up over here. And the men-at-arms will be arriving very shortly. Now, there is an independence faction here. This is fair enough. These guys are rude, but it's fair enough. What can we do here? Not a whole lot, actually. Unless... yeah, not a whole lot we can do here. We could send him a gift, but we are greedy. And it would only net us 18. So I don't think that's really very worthwhile. But what we definitely can do is this. That'll remove the second most powerful person from that faction and make the faction no longer relevant. Cool. So now we've got our men-at-arms here. They have arrived. And we're going to move out our trebuchets. Those are going to move down over here. And the rest of the units are going to move up over here. Cool. So we'll get this all set up. Can we get a better commander than this guy? We'll put this guy in. And they're going to go up over this way and start doing some fighting. We're going to siege over this way, of course. And we're going to head down to Barony of Ravensburg first. That actually looks like a very low-level fort, and we should be able to get that quite quickly. We do want a siege leader, and let's see if we get one. Yep. Fantastic. Yeah, they're finishing up this siege over here. That's okay. They can do that if they like. Do they have siege weapons here? They do. 80 total siege weapons, including 50 bombards. Hello, pause menu. Fancy meeting you here. Am I a moron? I'm a moron. This is not Bavaria. Bavaria is over here. Actually, we'll start off over here. Sounds good. They're trying to run away, but they do get caught, and now they're trying to pile in. This is foolish. They should not. They still lose this. They may have been able to win it, actually, technically, if they had all stacked together at the beginning. But they did not. And so they are defeated. Now, what they are not is stack wiped. We did, however, capture his heir and get 36% war score for that battle. That is reasonably ridiculous. We're going to come in over here, fight this tiny little force of 2. Okay. And these guys are walking over this way. We're going to see about intercepting them there. We are going to take attrition, but we don't care. That is fine. These guys have rallied and are turning back around. We're going to come on over this direction. Again, we're going to take attrition, but that's fine. We don't care about that either. They're going to lock in here, hilariously. But the war is actually over. So we'll go ahead and enforce our demands and disband our troops. Now, we're going to need to grant out all of these territories, obviously. And there we go. It just didn't accept the enter button for a moment there. That's fine. We'll grant this all out to people who are the correct religion and culture, and this will also be granted out to someone who is the correct religion and culture. We're going to need to make the duchy title, and then we're going... No, I don't want to select myself. We're going to need to make the duchy title, and then we're going to need to... Actually, we might need to usurp the duchy title. But then we're going to need to hand that out. Yeah, we'll usurp that. That de jure belongs to this lady, who is Tengri. Okay. And then we'll grant her the Duchy of Bavaria. 8 vassals go with. Beautiful. Now, who gets that? Bohemia? Honestly, Bohemia is fine. So we're going to grant that vassal over. Wait, what? Oh, she was already part of Milcenia. Okay, sounds good. That is completely fine. That is completely and totally fine. We don't mind that. So we are at 11 direct vassals. Where did we get 2 additional? Well, there's a county rank realm over here that is actually not under our control. Where else did we get 2 additional vassals? Because we were just at 9. I'm not entirely certain. It shouldn't be anywhere over here. It should be just along the borderlands. But there's probably something that I'm not seeing. We can always restructure the realm, of course, once we have our next life. That said, this really looks like it's part of our realm, but it isn't. No, it is. This guy is our vassal. Okay, so that should go to Poland. This is going to get us stress, which is not helpful. Yikes. But there we go. And that brings us down to 10. So there's another one that we got somewhere. And I don't know where it is. Our vassals were pushing borders, and they... it's this lady. Okay. We're just going to toss her over into this guy for now. Once again, 40 stress because we're greedy, and that is rough. There's no doubt about that. So we'll drop that down, and we definitely do need to start consolidating together some of these kingdoms. These 2 would be a good target, except that they are not imprisoned. We need to look for people who have recently rebelled from us, and... or, you know, who are still in prison, anyway. Like this guy, actually. This would be a good target. So we're going to go ahead and revoke his title of the Khanate. He's a known criminal because he revolted against us, so that's completely fine. No one will be upset about this. And then we're going to grant that over to this guy, along with everything inside. Cool. So that brings us down to 8 direct vassals. We need to look for additional kingdoms like that, like fairly weak kingdoms that can be consolidated together. We're just checking right now for imprisoned kings. Here's one. This is actually a very good target here. So we're going to immediately revoke his title. He is a known criminal, and that is then completely fine. Cool. And then we're going to grant that to whichever of these is weakest, which would be this one. Actually, this guy is also able to be revoked, so we're going to give it to this guy instead. Cool. He now has a lot of opinion of us, and we're going to ask him if he would convert. There we go. So we're now 8 direct vassals above. I feel like we should be at 7. But we're at 8. Okay. Let's see. The Khanate of Persia here. This one can definitely be combined. So we will revoke that as well. Cool. And then that would be granted over to this guy, who really probably should not be granted things because he's also been revoked, but that's okay. We're going to grant him all of these. Excellent. And we can transfer this count over. That does gain us a level of stress, to be sure. But that puts us at 6 direct vassals above our limit. That's great. Another location that would be good would be this one. Let's see if any of these rebelled. No. Okay, what about any of these over this way? No. This guy did. Cool. So we're going to revoke his title. And it'll just be the Khanate here. Okay. And then that's going to be moved into, I think, this kingdom. Actually, no. I'm going to move it into this kingdom, and we're going to grant him that Khanate and the county. There we go. 7 direct vassals, and then I'm also going to revoke this one. So we'll revoke his title. It's occupied. He is currently at war. Never mind, we can't do that. That's unfortunate. Okay, let's check down over this way. Anybody who rebelled over here? That is a negative. Okay, we can transfer this count over. It's not great for our stress levels. Speaking of stress levels, we are going to indulge in food. 300 gold worth of food. That's a lot of food. I only wished for your salvation. That's a whole lot of food. There's no doubt about that. Okay, just checking for additional kings that rebelled. Let's check this region up here. Here's one. Okay, so we're going to revoke his title. Excellent. He is a known criminal. No one will think anything of this. And we are going to combine that with perhaps this one, although they actually rebelled as well. So we're going to grant it to this guy instead. Excellent. 3 vassals go with, and we're only 5 direct vassals above our limit. Now we're going to revoke this one. This is an act of tyranny. They are imprisoned by us, but apparently they didn't rebel. Okay, so we're not going to do that right now. I don't want to work up acts of tyranny. This guy, however, this guy we can definitely revoke. Cool. And we can grant that over to this guy. I don't want that to be in the Khaganate of Mongolia. We're going to have that be in the Khanate of Angara. Because that would not be great to give him the Khaganate of Mongolia. There we go. And we can grant a bunch of vassals to their rightful liege right now. So we're 9 direct vassals above, and yeah, that's going to be a lot of stress. So we're going to revoke this guy's title real quick. And I'd like to give that over also to this guy. We want to consolidate these vassals together. So we don't want to grant vassal, we want to grant title. There we go. Excellent. And now we have 8 vassals that we can grant to the rightful liege. It's going to be a lot of stress. Cool. Tuva can also be revoked, and we could maybe combine that with Buryatia. That could also be revoked. Plus 19 and plus 4. Okay, so we're going to revoke this guy's title. And we're going to give that over to Tuva. No, not the Khaganate of Mongolia. There we go. Okay. Excellent. So 13 direct vassals above. We can transfer 7 vassals to rightful liege. Okay. I feel like that number isn't quite right, but sure. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and do this. This is going to get us a lot of stress, but we're going to look to overcap our stress right now. Yes, we're going to be very, very stressed here. To the point where we are currently dying of stress. There's no doubt about it. This may be a mistake. Maybe. Yeah, we're currently dying, but we need to drop our stress level. So we can flagellate. We're going to be brutally mauled if we do that. So I think we're not going to. We're going to extort subjects. Now, where are my loyal subjects? And hopefully we won't die, but we'll see. 91 stress. Losing a level of fame is probably okay. So, there we go. We lost a level of stress there. Good. And we'll extort our courtiers. Excellent. We're no longer dying. Good. That is fantastic. Unfortunately, the severe injury from our last flagellation hasn't healed yet. So that's a little rough for sure. And we can host a feast and call a hunt in 3 years. So that's definitely a thing. Prisoner, but not a vassal. They can go ahead and be released. Okay. So for now, we're 6 direct vassals above our limit, and that is going to need to be solved. We've got things like these duchies over here. In fact, we've got quite a lot of duchies that could be granted off to various people, like, for example, Tuva. At our current stress levels, we're not okay with that. We need to reduce our stress. So, we're hoping that the severe injury finishes up and heals. We're also hoping that we get some nice stress reduction events. We'll see if it happens, but for now, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to... just checking to see if they're our vassal, and they are not. That guy is, so we decline. Next episode, we're going to try to work down our stress a little bit, and attempt to get some of these duchies over here handed out. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.